interesting.
Hello, everybody.
I posted
Welcome
this last night. I'll be in
to
the
the next
position for
Headquarters Rio virtual training event. We are about to get this started. I will be going over some sort of rules of engagement. If you haven't done one of these
Let's
before,
assume I'm the superior force in this instance.
But hopefully you are interested, and why wouldn't you be? Because it's about money. Everything you ever needed to know about reserve pay if you were an IMA or a PIRR. So this is a Microsoft Teams / CVR live event. The video and the audio, the slides, they're all one way. And what I mean by that is I can't see or hear you. So if you're in your jammies with a cup of coffee, enjoy.
4B2.
I, on the other hand, am not.
4XB2.
The only way for you, the attendees, to communicate with us here is via the Q&A chat function. And we are actually we just turned it off. And here's why. What we've noticed is that people have a tendency not to pay attention as much to the briefing because they're focusing on the Q&A going on.
Triangle prism, excuse me.
So near the end of the briefing, we will turn that function back on, and then you can post question after question after question.
S1, S2,
and we will answer them, and we will not leave until they are all answered.
Inside here about the pH and the extruder for the line segments of the basic timeline.
The Q&A is moderated, and what that means is that when you post a question, the only people who are going to see it are the moderators who are helping me out with today's training. If it's a question that just needs an answer back to you,
gotta be able to pose
they will do that. If it's something that they think the other attendees would benefit by seeing, they will publish it and answer it there so that the attendees can see the questions and answers.
Method. You'll get into the lesser key,
so
you'll get into the master
only
key,
you'll see the reply,
key extruder to the surface area that.
So what we do ask, in addition to just waiting until the near the end of the briefing to ask the questions,
you're not really used to it because the IMA fundamentals of training are institutional crazies about the Medtron.
We've done trainings on IDT travel reimbursement, the different websites that we all have to use as IMAs. We've done a lot of different stuff, and we will continue to do more. In fact, the next event that we are holding is just a Q&A session, and you can ask whatever you want. But here we're just going to be focusing
the bottom
on
of the beaker,
reserve
breaking
pay. So
things,
if you could
getting
stay
the
in that lane,
differential,
we'd
using the
appreciate
water
it.
as a cushion to slow it
The
down.
other thing that's cool is if you get interrupted or you have to take off to go do something, fear not, because the same link that you use to access this training live turns into a recording of the training.
Always a fundamental practice
I think it takes about 15-20 minutes to render.
Certain
so
ways
you can
are
go
in
and check that out at a later time, or go back and rewatch something if you need to get some clarification on something I've talked about. All right. So, Headquarters Rio, the Readiness and Integration Organization, we
had this set up,
the short version is
anybody
personnel finance
I
stuff
could say that's what that
for
is.
IMAs
Pounds a
and
week,
PIRRs.
pound barrel. You were probably
so the
classed as
detachments
something,
to which
but
you were
it was weight.
assigned are a part of Headquarters Rio.
For
The headquarters itself, our offices are in the Air Reserve Personnel Center building at Buckley Air Force Base in Colorado. I am Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Carl. I'm the Public Affairs Officer for Headquarters Rio. And I'm an IMA. And I think that's important because a lot of the amazing people who work at Headquarters Rio are not IMAs. They're full-time AGRs or civilians.
We'll get into here in a minute. To just needing the
they haven't had the experience that we have had being individual
reservists. Probably something you've seen a million times.
So,
not this one. I've
made
it special. I made sure that the
put together some of these training slides,
what I'll
I'm
need
coming from it
and
from
how
our
I'll
perspective.
do that Energizer
not
Bunny.
somebody that knows everything
the
about
string theory, 9
finance
volts
or
being
personnel.
better than 12
trying to give you the
volts
whole
in the
IMA
cable.
angle.
This cane to the knee
There
that gets your
let's
ass
see,
moved.
I think I've got 8 moderators are going to be working the questions. We have Headquarters Rio staff and some detachment commanders and staff members as well. And
being that field
in addition
trip,
to a couple
maybe
people
you
from
never
the
know,
pay
it might
office.
be
So
about
there's plenty of
Jen
people to
and
make sure that those
Dave
questions
taking
get
out
answered.
$25,000 to the pie chart. The
Okay,
first
we have a lot to cover today. I'm going to, of course, talk about the pay office. We're going to go through the different computer systems that we have to use. I'm going to tell you how to get paid because that's important.
Kinetics to the
and we'll go over some smaller stuff that may not apply to you now, but it may in the future.
And this will play right through with this build on these 12 problems. Well,
Okay.
120 on this test is the world's hardest math problem. They like computer programmers,
it processes
and
all
they
the
are
IDTs,
fantastic.
MPA,
Get me
RPA,
wrong.
any orders for
Appreciate me a
pay
computer
for
programmer
reservists, individual reservists. So you will hear us sometimes
different.
refer to you as IRs, and that's just a way of encompassing both IMAs and PIRR, which is the participating individual ready reserve.
And so we handing photons off onto the pack here, making them tight packs.
Your orders got approved doesn't mean you're going to get paid automatically. There are steps that you have to do to kick off that pay or to get paid when orders are done. And I'll show you how to do that.
Polarizations of how we generalize that monster.
The RPO team is also in the ARPC
when you think you saw one, this is kind of how I like to write out.
In Colorado, of course.
Like how I like to write out, how we work to code on E2, the lensing of this thing, which we'll get into.
And so I'm actually in Raleigh,
all kinds of fun stuff. Green Lantern rings, rabbits, there's MREs.
But we've got people from the detachments. Boy, we've got Hawaii, we've got
the way we do
Atlanta,
the
we've got
algebra, the trigonometry, geometry,
and right now almost 150 of you attendees, and that's one of the cool things about
chaos theory,
the IR
couches
program
theorem,
is
or chaos theory, organization theory, and one of the other ones here.
If you have questions for the
Sonar,
RPO,
and B.
There are two ways to do that.
The brick and jar
One
conjecture.
is to submit
this
a
is
MyPers ticket, and I'm going to go into more detail about how to effectively do that here in just a minute.
Out there in outer
you can
space
also call the Total Course Service Center. The phone number is right there. In addition, if you're logged into MyPers, right now at least we have a chat function where you can chat with the TFSC.
You might get into some,
but they are the ones who farm out those phone calls,
topology, Dr. Manhattan, passing through Penrose,
working on your documents to get you paid.
Particle spin and air turbulence.
By far the best way to get your questions answered, to submit documents. And as I said, I'm going to go into more detail with that here in a minute.
This is the river. This map is how you get it to do why this now wouldn't just be some hot mess garbage comparatively to somebody else of the daily flush, right? The daily flush inside
so
here
is going
to be 10 to the 120th, 10 to the 78th iron in the pipes. The optics,
if you want to get an idea of when you can expect, for instance, your short tour information
I teach them like that because I have to have that marshal. If you want to do that with me in Cap
every
Commissary,
couple of weeks we
I got to understand that there's still a basic gravity to the wind talker.
What our SLAs are.
The Bonnie out there.
It's important to note that the RPO does not do travel pay. Travel pay is different. And like I said, we've already done one briefing about some travel pay stuff, and we will have more coming up. But that is a different section.
That is a very different section, but we'll be needing it.
Let's talk about
certain
MyPers.
People in certain areas, the time topology of their pack design lead to different sensor results on it.
Most of us access it via a CAC card. Oof, I did it. It's like ATM machine. A CAC. There we go.
We'll get into these here in a minute, Space Marine.
The first thing I want to point out to you is you can access MyPers with a username and password.
This is very
so if you notice here on the slide where it points to profiles, incidents, and messages, you notice the number 4 link there says change password.
Whatever you want to do.
Go in there, write down,
the game
or use a password keeper or whatever, your username, and
get to the pack.
Set up a password. And then you can access MyPers, check your incidents, submit documents.
So for me, inside there, it doesn't much matter because the Thresher is Thresher.
So it's pretty cool. I also want to remind you to go into your profile and make sure that you have a good personal email in your profile.
You, Star-Lord.
MyPers is one of the
I'm
few
very
sort of effective ways we have of getting information to you.
Army survival, gradients and pressures, stressors.
I, as the public affairs officer, for instance, put out the Rio Buzz newsletter every 2 weeks. That's how I send it. If you're only getting your MyPers messages to your .mil and you don't hack into your .mil very often, you're missing a lot of information. So please make sure that you have a good personal email in there. And
now that warboard got a little different to the movement speeds and inches of protracted warfare.
Where for some reason MyPers messages aren't reaching particular civilian mailboxes.
Now from here,
so if that happens,
we're just taking some real simple
set up
stuff.
A different, you're on a Google and you're having trouble, open up a Hotmail account just for your military stuff. I actually did that a few years ago.
So you can get them to punch gravity. If you can't get this with why we get this is 23.
If you submit documents and they have a question, they're going to message you back in MyPers, and it will kick off an email notification. But if you're not getting those emails, you're not going
equal to it either.
So you need to be
reachable.
Parts
of this ASVAL.
All right.
It's a
Smartphone
very
access. This is pretty
nasty
new.
math
So there
problem.
are
Pi 1, Pi
instructions
2,
for this
Pi
on
3
the Rio website, as well as our Facebook page.
is still a
But
right out of
basically,
one-step
once you have a
differentials of
username and
what we
password,
just
you
walked the
can
line.
go to MyPERS on your smartphone, and what it does is sends you a verification number that you have to type in, two-factor authentication, and then you can do it from your smartphone. So
now,
hey, you've
if
got a receipt you
Oppenheimer
need to
can't
upload,
perform in
snap a
here,
photo with your smartphone,
that doesn't necessarily
upload
mean
it
we put
right
one
to
in his
MyPERS
MOOC out
there,
unless it
and
becomes
none of this
necessary.
backing and forthing and emailing stuff to yourself. All right. The last thing I want to point out is under Learn More About, you'll see all these links. About 2/3 of the way down, it says IMA Management. You want to become very familiar with that link.
Problem.
When you log into MyPERS, it takes you to Air Reserve and either
Steffa,
officer or enlisted.
Dave, some other ones will get to the ratio problem.
But it doesn't recognize
the what do we got here? The train's leaving in two different directions sometimes. Did both breed have kids' cars and a paycheck that works in the cookie extruder factory here? Well, this battery
that kind of stuff.
is going to be a 7-day build Rome, right? And it's just test. How many different answers we get? Now, I could have your daddy train you and you could push it, but there's still a limit of pushing it to the Tylenol, the aspirin reduction, and you can do that stuff. That's cool. Product line, product line, housing, composition, solid rocket fuels of SpaceX for 7X, GX, be your week of the sum inside of X here for the G4 at G2.
You'll see that there are 4 links: IMA RPO requests, lead, short tour, and long tour. The bottom image is the exact same set of 4 links, but that's from our website. So if you want to submit
these two
something,
just laying around, I added this one. This one's
right
just
to the
out
Rio
there, and
website,
it reads like a special forces thing, but
you can go to the pay page and scroll down a little bit, and you'll see these
get it. And it's still tough because you'll sloppy it up.
You'll still have to get into MyPERS.
Pencil, paper, you know,
that's going to redirect you to the MyPERS link.
How do you want to micro change those things to your course as well? Because when you're hammering this out,
so those 4 links are available to you.
If you're going slow, taking your time, not just blowing through it. This is at your leisure.
It is unreal the amount of ticket and incident traffic that comes in from reservists, not just individual reservists, but all the TRs and everybody else too, via MyPERS.
This whole problem back here
without using these dedicated submission links, if you just send an email kind of thing from the
so
main
that's what the Putinum tells us.
If
this
you
wasn't there.
Correctly,
this arithmetic series about why that works the way it works, as much as the law of exponents being okay, MN, this is what they're doing. This is a way to describe it. This is different, very fractal ways that gravitationally already work.
When you get your money.
And that's the environment that the results got to work in there. Otherwise, the STEM Millennium problems have no answer roads, right?
We all love
It's my Nobel.
We would give it a hug if it were here, wouldn't we? All right. So to get to UTAPs, you need to go into arrows first.
Close to
it's kind of
0,
weird,
close to
but
1
it is what it is.
What
so
this
when you
math
log into arrows,
does.
you will see
They
this
did very
little
good
menu
in
where I've got the
recognizing
red
that can be
arrow
the difference
pointing.
in our
That's how
training
you
course
get
of the
to
way
UTAPs. And this is where
piece
you're
of
going
paper,
to
some of these
schedule
other
your
ones will work
IDTs
for
every
you.
year. And where you're going to mark them
when I
words
didn't do this, I didn't give you the strength. This is string theory off the internet. I added it to it while just packing integers and whatever algebra I could as a math teacher. Why? Because build it around it. It's an MMER, MMA fight on the Energizer bunny here. Energy bunny to the cable, able the boat, what's under the keel, what's how the energy moving around better than 9 volts,
some of our others.
So if they were marked and that still number was relative, how we added it into the function
it is what it
would be 1, 0.
Right now, if you access it in Edge, it will prompt you to re